in the affected communities. Mr. Speaker, we recognize the place of climate policy and financing to help address the long-term effects of climate change on victims of drought, flooding, and other adverse weather events. Accordingly, the Ministry has applied to the Global Shield Against Climate Risk Fund, an initiative launched by President Nana Akufo-Addo and Chancellor Scholz during the COP27 in Sharm el-Sheikh to access additional financial resources to support communities upstream and downstream of the Akosombo Dam. I convey the sincere appreciation of His Excellency the President and the entire government to all groups and individuals who have empathized with and supported the affected families. It is in this same spirit that we must continue to be grateful to God that no lives have been lost due to the devastating spillage from the Akosombo Dam and the support that we have all given. Mr. Speaker, we have worked hard and invested significant resources, and being sure of this knowledge, I can confidently assert that over the past 7 years, every sector has been positively impacted. Every household has been positively impacted by social intervention programs. And every region has been positively impacted. Indeed, President Akufo-Addo has deepened decentralization development by investing $442 million to create and resource 6 new administrative regions, the most in our history since independence. Consistent with our policy on what we call preferential options for the poor, i.e. leaving no one behind, we have been historic in enhancing social mobility and protected the vulnerable in our society. In this regard, we have since 2017 improved access to quality senior high school education for about 5.7 million Ghanaians by investing 8 billion cedis in the future of our next generation. We have increased enrollment and learning outcomes of 3.8 million pupils by investing over 3.6 billion in the school feeding program. We have reformed the NHIS to improve and expand health service delivery to 16 million Ghanaians out of the targeted 20 million Ghanaians. We have supported foundational education of over 6 million pupils by investing 248.5 million as capitation grants. Mr. Speaker, we also have more women in schools than men. We have improved the quality of life of about 350,000 Ghanaian households under the LEAP program by investing 1.2 billion Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, it has been 7 years of great and positive impact. We are determined to do more to boost the capacity of the private sector, to expand productivity and create jobs. In the past 7 years, Mr. Speaker, we've invested over 32.7 billion to keep the lights on and support the growth of businesses. We have invested 25 billion to facilitate the repositioning of the financial sector and enhance its ability to assist business operations. To date, the Development Bank Ghana has facilitated 1 billion cedis in competitive financing for the private sector, and GEPSEL continues to mitigate risk in the agriculture sector, supporting 100,000 young graduates to secure workplace experience and employment by investing 2.4 billion in NATCO, invested 7 billion to build road and transport infrastructure and improve connectivity and productivity, invested 541 million in 169Y IDF, 1D1F enterprises to scale up value addition and provided 140,000 additional jobs. And we have created, Mr. Speaker, over 2.3 million jobs in the private sector and public sector, approximately 900,000 in the private sector and 1.4 million in the public sector. Mr. Speaker, capital spending is equally important to the future of our country. Consequently, we mobilize and deploy resources, expanded the including connecting Tamatu and Bakadam to promote trade on the Eastern Corridor, construction of 12 fish landing sites and 2 fishing harbors at a cost of 19.5 billion to promote the fishery-based livelihood of our coastal folks, improve community infrastructure by investing $2.2 billion into over 2,000 projects under the IPEP initiative, promoting inner city development by spending $190 million under the Zongo Development Fund, expanded and improved the road network by investing about $16 billion, Mr. Speaker, recording the most kilometers and the National Identification Scheme to ensure 1.5 million eligible Ghanaians acquire security-sensitive ID cards. This has laid the foundation for a prosperous future where digitalization provides more convenience, introduces an added layer of efficiency in delivery of public services, and enhances our ability to safeguard our national interests. Mr. Speaker, I want to stress at this juncture that Ghana has paid its dues, Ghana has turned the corner, and we are getting back on track. Despite these successes, we have to do more to enforce decent jobs with good pay for the young people of our country. As such, through the 2024 budget, we'll deliver even more investment across the rail sector to keep on a firm growth trajectory that will create more jobs, safeguard our climate prospects, and deeply Ghana as the seed country of our development renaissance. Mr. Speaker, invest in ongoing projects. Ghana front will conclude negotiations with the official creditor committee to ensure that the work on eligible externally funded projects resume. We will, through the Ghana Mutual Prosperity Dialogue, be private sector and government partners to support local businesses, attract FDI, and enhance the economic prospects of our people. Indeed, given the potential to upskill and the multiplier effects that our small and medium-sized businesses possess, government intends to scale up support to young entrepreneurs and fledgling businesses with a singular aim to create sustainable jobs across all communities. In this view, the ministry has teamed up with MEDA and is committing $1 billion Ghana cedis to ensure that our enclave projects developing our productive capacity for exports. Mr. Speaker, we are also positioning a generation of Ghanaians to secure our leadership in the global arena. Today, our country hosts the headquarters of the AFCFTA. We also have the privileged position Mr. Speaker, we are also positioning our generation to secure our leadership in the global arena. Today, our country hosts the headquarters of the AFCFTA. We also have a privileged position in leading the climate change charge. As the green host of the Climate Vulnerable Forum Secretariat, we are galvanizing a coalition of 68 nations and 1.7 billion people to shape the climate discourse and secure resources for a just energy transition. Mr. Speaker, that is the promise of this budget, and we will keep our eyes firmly fixed on the future and build lasting prosperity for this and the next generation. Mr. Speaker, as members recall, we came into government in 2017 in a period of great despondency, meager resources of 2 fish and 5 loaves. Today, we can only marvel at how the Lord has multiplied these resources. I'll now proceed, Mr. Speaker, to update the House on the macro fiscal performance of the economy. Mr. Speaker, global economic recovery remains sluggish, primarily due to a confluence of setbacks, including the lingering effects of supply chain disruptions and geopolitical events, and the increasing cost of living across many economic blocs. the disruptions in energy and food prices and efforts to combat record high inflation through tightening global monetary policies have considerably slowed down economic activity globally. According to the IMF's October 2023 World Economic Outlook, global economic growth is anticipated to decelerate from 3.5% in 2022 to 3% in 2023, and at best 2.9% in 2024. These projections are noticeably lower than the pre-pandemic historical average of 3.8% from 2000 to 2019. Projections of 3.1% global growth over the medium term are lowest in decades, and the prospects for countries to achieve higher living standards are also therefore bleak. Global inflation is expected to gradually decline because of monetary tightening and declining international commodity prices. Global inflation is